bit sadly neglected in my Munro bagging career to date have been the Cairngorm mountains. Why that should be, I don't know. Perhaps it's just when I get a weekend off I tend to head for the pointy things in the west coast, or maybe it's because when I hear the word Aviemore I get a migraine. Whatever the reason, it's my stupidity, because forget timeshare chalets and chip shops, this is an area of outstanding natural beauty, and a testament to that is that the area receives over 1 million visitors a year. Now, to rectify my neglect of these mountains, we're heading today for Braeriach, a mighty mountain, the third highest Munro in Britain in fact, and one of 4 mountains here over 4,000 feet. One of the best things about it is you can't see Aviemore very well from the top.
That could be pronounced in different places Bràigh Riabhach or Braeriach. Now, Bràigh are pronounced in some places Bràigh or Bràigh. It's a word for braes. The upper, it means the upper part. Riabhach, which is often pronounced in many places Riach, means generally brindled, and it's used very much of the of Highland cows with a mixture of black and red, and it's a very common adjective for the devil.
Well, only half a mile away from the car park along this well-maintained track and beside this beautiful little loch-in is where you're about to enter Britain's largest national nature reserve. It's owned by John Grant of the Rothiemurchus estate, but it's managed jointly between himself and the Nature Conservancy Council for Scotland. And if you stick to what they called preferred routes, there are no stalking restrictions at all, so make sure you do, and take your litter home with you. Of course, it goes without saying, out with the deer stalking season, you can wander at will. There are some very sensitive areas in the estate due to rare birds breeding, but the walkers taking the major routes up these famous Munros aren't affected. The name Rothiemurchus means Plain of the Great Pine, and it's one of the few areas of naturally regenerating Scots pine with deer wintering in it, a delight compared to the horror that is Sitka spruce. This is a really long walk, so be prepared. The route starts from the Whitewell car park and continues along a Land Rover track to Lairig before the climb up onto a vast plateau on the summit. Don't be discouraged by the sometimes bleak and featureless walk in. There's lots of treats to come later, so just get on with the route march and don't whine. Just before Lairig is where things start looking up. A small cairn marks the start of a 100-year-old stalker's path that snakes up the side of the hill towards the plateau. This is where the hard work of trekking up the road pays off as the scenery begins to take on a more majestic mood. Although the Cairngorms may seem like benign, easy big lumps, especially to those used to craggier peaks in the west, you should remain cautious. These hills have a danger which can hardly be imagined in pleasant weather. In the winter, the weather can be appalling, and combined with the featureless nature of the terrain and the great distances involved, these hills have the deadly ability to catch unawares anyone not prepared for severe conditions. In this magnificent corrie is Scotland's most permanent snowfield. In fact, something melted twice this century, 1933 and 1959. In fact, studies of lichen and historical readings suggest that there were glaciers, permanent glaciers, in the corries of Braeriach until the mid-18th century. Great snow, but I wouldn't suggest skiing in it. Water! Water! Oh, the Wells of Dee, great. And it's an absolutely amazing sight. The Wells of Dee, cutting through this desert of a plateau at 4,000 feet, is the spring that really is the source of the mighty River Dee. And in fact, it's worth remembering that when the royal family are in residence and Prince Philip is out there salmon fishing, anything you do in this little river will eventually get to him. What makes Bràigh Riabhach so surprisingly dramatic is the contrast between the billiard table flatness of the plateau and the sheer cliffs that plummet down towards the trough of the Lairig Ghru. If there was a design competition for geological effects, glaciation would definitely walk off with all the awards. Sorry to harp on about it, but you can see why accurate navigation up here is a must. Imagine being up here in a whiteout. It wouldn't take much to walk innocently over a ledge like this in poor visibility. Scary, scary 700 feet cliffs down there. This, I assume, is the summit of Bràigh Riabhach at last. I say assume because the only thing that tells me that is this large cairn on this flat plateau. But we're at 4,248 feet up here, and the views are quite magnificent. On a day like today, I can see all the way from Ben Nevis up to Ben Nevis, down to Braeriach. Across here's Cairn Gorm, in the distance you can see Loch Nagar. And across the incredibly dramatic Lairig Ghru Pass behind me, you can see Ben Macdui, the second highest mountain in Britain. And there's good old Cairngorm in the distance, home of skeetoes and sticky buns. In fact, everywhere you look, you can see something outstandingly beautiful. Except for Aviemore. You can see Aviemore from here. I thought you couldn't see Aviemore from here. You can see it. Next week, Ben Lomond, Scotland's most southerly Munro, also the most trodden Munro. It's a mountain under pressure. And the Mamors for a fabulous walk over 3 Munros to Sgurravame via the Devil's Ridge.